Well, hello everyone, and thanks for joining us for our new iteration of Black Landscapes Matter. Today we'll be traveling and talking to our folks in Kentucky about the amazing work that's going on around the state of Black soil in the state of Kentucky. So here I have with me Ashley. Please introduce yourself and let us know a little bit more about the work in Kentucky.
All right. Well, again, thank you very much for having me today. It's a pleasure to be able to share. My name is Ashley, and I live in Lexington, Kentucky. I serve as co-founder and CEO of Black Soil, which is a nonprofit agribusiness. Been around since August of 2017, and our mission is to reconnect Black Kentuckians to their heritage and legacy in agriculture. And so, just a little bit about the work. We work to bridge our Black farmers with direct, sustainable, reliable markets, create opportunities for a one drop delivery system, which then takes their products through an array of diverse sales channels and diversified revenue built throughout a portfolio of 7 years of work. And we also work in aggregation and distribution. So we're moving into retail brick and mortars and having a mobile farmers market. And actually, we've expanded outside of the Commonwealth. We now have the ability to serve Ohio, West Virginia, Tennessee as a part of the USDA Appalachian Regional Food Business Center.
Great. So I know that in the next upcoming weeks, you all are hosting the State of Black Soil. Could you tell us a little bit more about the event and how people can get involved if they don't know yet?
Absolutely. Well, we are thrilled to announce that our 3 day registration slots have been completely filled. We're welcoming around 70 individuals representing California, Wisconsin, Mississippi, Arkansas, Kentucky, obviously, Pennsylvania, New York, and we're thrilled to host them. But don't fret, we have day passes for our events, our intensive, our industry office hours, which really are all of this programming comes together to propel and amplify small to mid-size, particularly focusing on and specializing our work around Black farmers who need to be market ready, who need to really have accountability and reflection as to perhaps there are things that I'm not doing correctly that might be hindering my growth and productivity. So, this is a safe space to really have those conversations, learn from industry professionals and experts. So, Monday, September 9th, it will be presented by our presenting sponsor, Frequent Heirs Foundation Incorporated. We'll then swing from a national focus and level of expertise on Monday to a very localized, contextual to Kentucky, which again, our Black farmers went from the outside of the margins to the very center. Now the industry is looking and building itself around our 0.7% of our Kentucky Black farmers rather than the other way around. So we want to be able to impart that knowledge. We want to be able to network, sharing meals. So all of the day passes cover breakfast and lunch. And then you can add on the farm table dinners nightly, Monday and Tuesday. And then we close it out Wednesday, September 11th, with Food is Medicine. Another angle, an opportunity for our small to mid-sized Black farms to organize collectively, um, working to confront the compounding challenges, not only facing you as a Black farmer, but the communities that you serve. And so by working together holistically, we're able to really move our industry forward while decreasing the scarcity, the lack of abundance, the insecurity and inaccessibilities faced.
I want you to speak to some of the barriers that Black farmers in Kentucky have experienced and strategies that your organization has used to kind of overcome them barriers to kind of get where you are today.
Absolutely. That's what we're all about. Solution driven change. It would be very easy to fall over and just concede. Coming into this work in 2017, knew two Black farmers. From there, we've been able to grow that to over 100. And so we really have a concentrated group of leadership that are generational farmers. They own their land. And so some of the major barriers were understanding the criteria and qualifications for procurement. That was one of the early and frequent tactics that implicit bias showed up in and through decision making, gatekeeping, toxic and pervasive within dining services, ag opportunities. So we had to learn how to ask better questions. So it was, well, you're not GAP certified, but it was never then the follow up proposition of, so let's now help you become GAP certified. We went basically on a 6-year journey to figure out, like, what else do we need to do to understand this process? It was just always so held off. It was always like arm's length away. So getting up close and personal with information, knowing actually how a system that is trying to oppress you is working on the inside as if you can at all. So here in Kentucky, we really do have one-on-one conversations, relationships, or frenemies, or however you want to say it, with the people who are making decisions around the ag industry. And so we were having Zoom calls. We were, following up over email. We were hounding. I was extremely aggressive. Another barrier was, perception. It would be easy to cower and not want to be the mad, angry, you know, trouble starter Black woman. I've got colleagues who are not Black, and they say, well, they're really nice to me, but they don't hear that the words boomerang back into their ears and hear how preposterous that is. You're diminishing my experience because someone is nice to you. Racism is syrupy sweet, and we give it too many opportunities to take over us. And so again, we've worked outside of systems with our own money and establishing as many of the parameters. So we work to control as many of the inputs and outcomes for our market share. There are times where we do work like with the local food purchasing agreement that have obviously industry standards. And it's not as if we want to cower underneath and present it for low grade product. It's the over compensation and the over management of the structure of agriculture that continuously wants to beat down and chronically beats down on Black farmers to say they're not good enough, they're not smart enough, they're not equipped, but they were equipped, they were smart enough, and they were good enough to teach millions of uh, Americans after emancipation and the Civil War how to farm. Then they took that knowledge, transformed it and institutionalized it through extension and universities like land grants, and left Black farmers on the outside looking in. And so what Black soil does is, no, baby, you're in the middle. This is all about you. We can't go from 100% down to 0.7% and think it's okay to not ask questions as to why. So I'm not a farmer. I don't pretend to play one on TV in a dramatized reenactment of these events. We're just here to be cheerleaders. We're here to advocate. We have farmers who have public jobs, and also they have assets that their advocacy in the ways that we've had to go about it would put them in a bad position. So it allows us to, again, be those frontline workers in combing through, what's convoluted, and we go back and translate it into their layman terms, their dialect. But again, also filtered through the racism and the implicit bias to just get to the facts of it.
Thank you. And so I know we're coming up on the end of our time, but I wanted to ask you the implications of the recently Supreme Court decision that once again gave farmers, money, showing the discrimination that has been going on within the USDA. Do you see this as a step for farmers to move forward, or another ploy from the government, as we like to say, symbolism, but still no system change? So just give your opinion about, is that a win for Black farmers? And what do we need to continue to do moving forward to create those system changes within, the whole structure of ag?
So Congress authorized the $2 billion discrimination financial assistance payout program, DFAP. Around 43,000 farmers were recipients, 850 of those being $500,000 financial assistance payment recipients. And we do know of a Black farm within our region who did receive the 500,000. This is taxable income. They did have to provide a W-9. So even though they are provided this financial assistance, it is taxed. Regardless of what USDA does, even in this process of collecting applications and offering technical assistance, there was still a process to, you know, report discrimination after 2021. But this is the last drop, they say. No more lawsuits. Y'all got DFAP. So what I truly believe, much like with reparations, that one, Black people have the agency and autonomy, the rightfulness in mind to make those decisions that they need to make for their farms. So we cannot pass judgment on how people utilize those funds. I think it's also a perfect time because we have had generations of losing land due to partition sales and heirs property issues and selling the land for Cadillacs and all of those kind of troped narratives to be wise in our investments, whether it be a communal investment or traditional ways. But I truly believe that we have overcome the okey doke. This new generation of farmers and the advocates and industry professionals really are staring head on to the BS, and they're moving around it in ways that we are making our ancestors so incredibly proud. So the discrimination financial assistance is one tool overall in the toolbox that we can positively use to leverage the enhancement and advancement of Black farming. But overall, I would say, the technical assistance that we extended, our number one recipient, was a white male farmer. So all individuals were able to apply, and all individuals based on their discrimination and how the analysts reviewed their application. So just not Black farmers received these funds. So you've infused $2 billion into rural communities, into the overall ag industry. So I'm truly hopeful that we'll see some change and impact from it. But it doesn't mean that we just stop and sit down. It actually motivates you to pick your pace up just a little bit in a sustainable way, obviously. So those are just some of my thoughts and opinions on that.
Thank you. And then lastly, how can people get involved? How can people donate? How can people become more involved in Black soil?
Well, one, if you live, like I stated earlier, in Ohio, we'd love to connect with you. We're a part of the USDA Appalachian Regional Food Business Center. This April, we hosted an on-farm intensive focused on composting and urban agriculture in Cleveland with Riddall Green Partnership. We want to be able to share information about the Business Builder Awards, donate on our website, all of these things, the State of the Soil Day Passes, blacksoilky.com. And we'd love to welcome you through the Day Pass. We're there at the Origin Hotel in Lexington, Kentucky. You can also save the date for next year, Sunday, September 7th through Wednesday, September 10th, 2025, Origin Hotel in Lexington, Kentucky. We'll again do a 3-day registration where you're able to get a little bit more of those incentives and amenities and benefits. And then after that registration deadline closes, you'll have the opportunity to purchase the day passes as well as tickets to our farm to table dinners.
Well, thank you again so much, Ashley, for all the work you do. Have a silent, well, huge love in my heart for farmers, and the work that we're doing is so important. Thank you guys again for tuning in on our one-on-one chats around Black Landscapes Matter. Thank you to the drivers of this work, and that is Black environmental leaders. So we will see you soon.
Thank you.